Ragnarok was an interesting trip. We didn't not only went to the event itself, we loaded up right afterwards and we spent a week in Disneyland, and we got back just last night, which is actually this morning, so I haven't really had a chance to fully recover yet. It's still a bit early, only slept for a couple hours, I guess. But anyway, it's just such a cool event, and I said the same thing about End War, but it's just such an amazing experience to, I don't know, just be with just a group of nerfers. I mean, I'm sure it's cool with whatever your local group is. I don't really have much of a group out here. There's a couple of guys, but nothing really significant. And so the two guys who get to meet together, every couple of weeks, once a month, whatever it is, and just kind of, rub shoulders with other active nerfers and modders and guys who are building stuff and be able to kind of compare notes. It's just such a cool experience. And so I guess that's probably why Ragnarok was such a much bigger deal than, at least to me, because there's not really anything else out here. So this was the only actual Nerf event I've been to besides End War. But it was really cool, really well done. It was, I understand there's some issues with the venue, but for what it was, the staff and volunteers just did a heck of a job. It was just such a cool event to be a part of and to join in. But I don't know, it's just, to those of you who didn't go, I'd recommend it. I mean, if you can make it happen, that'd be great. I hope I can make it next year. I don't know if I can be able to swing End War and Ragnarok next year, both. I'm gonna try, because it's just such a cool experience. Just, I don't know. I wish I had captured some video, but I'm sure everybody else is putting out videos yet. I haven't even checked. Like I said, we've been going hardcore at it. Been busy running one place or another. I haven't even had a chance to check and see what everybody else has posted or anything. But just so cool. I loved the Stalking Dead the first day, where excuse me, it was the HVZ thing. Really, I mean, it was really hard for me to kind of comprehend what was going on, so I can't even imagine what it was like to actually write and put together that. But really well done. Really, it was just fun. It was just fun. It was an interesting dynamic. I wasn't able to make it the whole time. My wife and I stopped at the dinner break. My knee and my back was saying, "Hey, stop doing what you're doing," and she wasn't doing so hot either. So we kind of broke off and went to dinner and came back a little later and just kind of hung out and watched everything else go on. And I wish I could have gone on and kept playing, because it was fun to watch. And then meet and greet was awesome. It was great to not only meet old friends that I either met at End War or had seen previously at End War, but also new people on this side of the country that I hadn't gotten to meet yet. Just really cool to put names to faces. And just, I guess, I don't know, again, just like End War, you talk to these people online, or you see these people, in the forums and the groups and stuff like that. But then to actually meet them in person, it's just such a cool experience. And I'm gonna forget everybody's name again, and I'm awful about that, and I apologize. But it was just so cool to meet everybody. I wish I would have been able to bring more stuff to show off, or not even show off, but just to exhibit, I guess. But I had to pack pretty dang light, because, like I said, this was just the first stop, the first weekend stop of a big, basically week and a half overall vacation thing for our anniversary, which made it a Nerf-versary, which is very clever. I'm sure it's been used before, but I'm going to keep using it because I think it's clever. It was really cool. Superstock was cool. I didn't participate in the 5v5, but my wife and I went to watch the first couple of games. We stood up on the bleachers, which was cool because we came walking up and we were kind of seeing what was going on, and then my wife's like, "Hey, we got to go up on the bleachers and watch," and I was like, "Nah, it's a silly idea," and she's like, "No, it's going to be cool." So we went up there, and it was really cool. It was really cool. She was right. To basically be a little bit lower than the drone that was capturing the footage at the time, but just to see kind of a sky down view of the action was just really cool to see everybody moving around the field. little bit intense of gameplay for my taste to participate, but it was really fun to watch. Really impressive seeing the teams go about it. Superstock was fun because it was just very laid back. You know, we were just out having a good time. Again, we made it to, was it a lunch break? And my back was like, you know what, you gotta stop picking stuff up off the ground or I'm gonna leave you. And so, I had to kind of cool it, and I just ended up hanging out in the meet and greet area again. Just kind of, you know, just let things happen. But no, it's just so cool to see everybody, just to see that many like-minded people get together just for the sake of having fun. I mean, nobody was really out there to show anybody up. There's no, I don't know, it was just fun. It's just a fun experience, a fun atmosphere. And I just so look forward to, you know, not only next year, but I would assume this event would continue to gain steam. I mean, they only had a couple months to put this thing together. And so, you know, the bang-up job they did with just that little bit of time, if they have a whole year to work things out this time, it's going to be good. I'm way excited. I'm way excited. But although I didn't bring a whole lot of stuff to Ragnarok, I did bring a big suitcase of, well, not a suitcase full of stuff, but it was a suitcase with some things in it, and I left with a suitcase full of stuff. So I can't even recall what all the heck I got, so I think we'll go ahead and push this over, and we're just going to dig through and not only show off what I ran and what gear and stuff I brought, but also the cool stuff that I got from the seller thing, the thing where people sold stuff. So let's get that noise. That's all magazines. So you know what magazines look like. All right, got some paperwork here. Disney pamphlets and things that I just threw in last minute before we left. Shoes, because I didn't have room in the other suitcases. Got these cool hats from Ruby's, which is a little diner that Alex of Make Test Battle, who chauffeured my wife and I around a little bit when we were in the LA area, made us wear so we could take nice pictures. So, but that was cool. Shout out to him, dang it. Not only did he go out and bought us lunch on a couple occasions, even though we tried to buy it anyway, he just drove us around. It was really cool. If you saw my Facebook and Instagram, you saw that the 2 days, what the heck was it, Tuesday and then Saturday? Something like that. Anyway, we met up with Alex. He picked us up at the hotel and then drove us around and showed us some local sites, took us out to dinner and stuff. We met up on Friday? Was this Friday? With Sparky Santos, who is a nerfer in the area. Got to go out to dinner with him and had some ramen. That was my first time going out for just strictly ramen, and that was really good. So that was really good. I'm gonna have to try that, see if we have anything like that local. No, it's cool to meet him. This on top is a men gun dart. This is what I ran exclusively. Focus, please. Can you focus? Men gun. I like these darts. They're pricey. They're a pretty rich dart, but not my dart of choice. Okay, so there's more magazines. A box of worker darts that I got like 2 days before the event, and was using them in my hammer shot just to ramrodding them down and getting very nice performance. I was appreciating that because the dart fit on the Devil's Nerf Works cylinder that I have is a bit snug for the men gun darts and doesn't let them fire reliably, so it was easier to do this than it was to either use a different hammer shot or something as a secondary. But so that was neat. I like that. This is the gear, or the vest that I wore for both events, both games. This is just the same rig actually or vest that I used for End War. But this time I was running the Devil's Nerf Works mag holders that I recently got, and I like them a lot. I'm going to be doing a review video probably in the next couple of days, try to put that thing together, but I like these a lot. More information there. For Stock and Dead, I did wear a couple mag holders on the back as well, just for extra capacity. So that was that vest. Mag pouch that went with the NC Star chest rig that my wife used because she got in the action and played, and that was fun. If you saw, there again, Facebook, Instagram, you probably saw a picture of her sporting this guy with my patch on the front so that people knew where she belonged. Okay, now this is... oh, here we go. This is Devil's Hand, which I threw together just like 2 days before the event because I realized that the shell work wasn't done and I had 0 wiring and 0 internals in it. So I got a quickie order in from Foam Blast, and I was running 3 Fang revamps, flywheels and pusher both, and in a Serenity cage with Bulldog wheels, was shooting... okay. He was shooting it right about like 147, 148, and it was really bothering me because that was really close to the 150 like hard cap. And so I was running some tests on it, and I gave it to my wife and said, "Hey, can you just shoot me a couple times with this? I want to see what it's like, because very rarely am I on the other end of my own blasters." And so she's like, "Okay." So she shot me a couple times, and then she says, "Smoke's coming out," and I said, "Crap! Put her on the ground." One of the Busby darts, the Busby stickies, the newer generation ones, got stuck in the flywheels, and it upset one of the motors. One of them sounds a little crazy, but it dropped me down to like 135 to 140, which put me comfortably under the limit. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise, which means I need to replace the motors now. But it was just kind of interesting that I was actually really nervous about making it in, or breaking that cap and not being able to use the blaster, and that's the only really functional blaster I have right now. So thank you to her for accidentally goofing it up. So just put those motors at a bit of a disadvantage. So I haven't done anything on this on the channel yet. I did a live stream once because my idea was to just cannonball through this build, throw it together real quick, don't bother documenting anything, so that I could have it done and painted in beautiful Ragnarok. But it still has big gaping holes in the side, and there's lots that needs to be done still, but the basic shape is there and it's functional, and I'm very happy with it. And I did show it off a little bit at the meet and greet thing, and everybody who picked it up went, "Oh, that's nice." And it is a very comfortable little blaster. I like it a lot. So look forward to seeing more of this in the future. So there's that. I bought a couple things. Oh, first off, this is the muzzle piece, the Devil's Nerf Works piece that fits around the barrel, the guide of the Serenity cage, just beautifully. There's like one wrap of electrical tape, and then it fits on nice and snug, and looks dandy. So, there's that. Bought just a little, what do you call it, red dot sight from a guy that I can't remember what his name was, but he had a lot of good stuff, and I wished I could have spent more money, but he took it all. So there's that guy. Also, this cool green glowy light that I've always kind of wanted because it's kind of cool looking, and I think it would look nice integrated into something. Also got that. Okay, these are a couple of the mag holders that I was wearing on my back for Stalking Dead. This is the Strife that my wife used. This is the one that has the V6 kit in it, and so you got Neo Rhinos? Do I have those? What the heck am I running in here? Yeah, Neo Rhinos in a 42 millimeter, no, 42 and a half, I think, containment cage with, what do you call those? Cyclone flywheels. I believe that's it. Of course, we're running on 3S, and there's a stock in here somewhere for it that actually houses the battery because I still have yet to buy a extended battery door. This is a double shot that I was using as an alternate sidearm, but I ended up loaning it to another guy who didn't have a blaster, so it was used after all. This is the pinky pistol thing that my wife used for optional secondary thing. This is the hammer shot I used. It's just got a spacer, Devil's Nerf Works cylinder, and it had a extended hammer, but it broke right when I was like testing it before I packed it up. So that's a bummer, but it'll be getting one of those again because I do like it. That's right, Krager Dog's over here nosing in, being like, "Hey, why are you looking in that box of stuff and not at me?" pamphlet. We went to Santa Monica. That was cool. There again, Alex took us because he's a swell guy. This is one of those, what the heck, Tech Recon pistol thingies that I got from a guy who had several shells to sell, and I was going to go back and get more, but I ran out of cash because the other guy took it all for a good cause. And my wife had gone to get something to eat, and I anticipated her coming back with cash, but she couldn't find a place to get cash back from where she was, and so I wasn't able to buy more things, and by the time she got back, everybody had packed up and left anyway. But this thing's got a very nice, dandy little grip, and kind of a cool boxy profile and stuff. I've never actually handled one of these Tech Recons. This is the pistol thing. The bigger one is very interesting as well, and I'd like to get a hold of one of those because integration potential. But no, so that'll be making an appearance sometime. Not sure what the plan is yet. Little tabby things that hold Molly stuff in. What do you call those? Molly deals? Interesting story. I got this, was it the Ray Blaster? Little internal guy. Because I've been wanting to get one of these, but I didn't want to pay like the 25 bucks that you pay for it at the store. And this guy had it, and I was like, hey, how much you want for this thing? And he's like, whatever it was, a couple of bucks. And I was like, okay, cool. That sounds dumb, but I'm out of cash. But my wife's coming. I told everybody this because I was expecting it to come, but it never did. And he says, cool, I'll hang on to it. You know what? Never mind. You can just go ahead and carry it. You know, you can go ahead and have it, and I'll just catch up with you later because I'll find you. Well, then my wife came back, and I didn't have cash, and so I had to apologize to the guy. And so I still owe you $3. But he asked me to sign a blaster, and so I wrote Mr. Nathan, and then parentheses wrote owes you $3. So whoever you are, I forgot your name, and I apologize again. And I'll apologize a lot for that. But I'll settle up with you at some point, so don't let me forget. I owe you $3. But thanks for the blaster, though. I got a mess of these Busby shells from Bobo Bob. I got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 packages of 6, so that's 36, which is more than enough than I need. But it's because I picked up a, what the heck is it? It's a Dart Zone. Air Zone. It's the Air Zone version. That's, you push the button and the little panel pops up and ejects the shells instead of being a break action. That I have plans for one of those, but I needed the cool effect of these things to get the cool effect of it, so those will be used for a future project. Thank you very much, Bobo Bob, for hauling those exclusively for me. A couple more loose darts. There we go. Picked up a pair of these Flywheel the World mini flywheels from Alex. For Adrian Ward. I'm very excited to use these in something. I haven't figured out quite what yet, but it's nice to have them on hand. I do have intentions of buying or building a pigeon at some point, so it's nice to have these components so far. Okay, got LiPo charger, got dump pouch with more mag holders in it. Sling, plural. Magazine. I got a Sharpie, which doubled as a ramrod. I got a piece of tape on here for a mark to tell me how far I can ramrod the worker darts into the hammer shot. Oh, I think I was supposed to give this back. This is the blue thingy that we wore for Superstock? Can't remember. Yeah, I think this is the Superstock one, because she told everybody when she was giving them out, wear them like Chewbacca, and my wife's like, what does that mean? So, I have one still. Sorry guys if I was supposed to give that back. But I do have this, because I was on Team Blue, as was my wife. More loose darts. Next. Oh, hey! This was a good deal. Got this guy, the early pinpoint red dot sight thing. This is the in-strike version. been wanting one for a long time because they are a very handsome little sight, which means now I need to build something up in Instrike colors. So that was a good deal there. I was happy to get that. And again, I wish I knew who the heck you were, because you had a lot more stuff that I wanted, so I'm sorry I didn't have more money. Which is technically okay, because I really didn't have much more room to haul stuff. So, yeah, I think that, well, that's the stock for the Strife. These are my darts that I brought. Now, cool stuff. A few weeks before the event, Dr. Chef, Dr. Panda, Australian guy, really cool guy, friend of Alex, met him at Endor. He's super, super cool. He said, hey, do you have a use for a Thunderhawk shell? And I said, of course. Why do you have a shell already? And he says something bad happened with a mod he was trying to do, and he didn't want to try to put it back together because it went bad. And so he says, if you want the shell, I'll bring the shell. So I have a complete Thunderhawk shell with a slidey bit and a sack full of internals and pieces, including the little slidey clip thing, which is cool because this is number 3, so I now have a usable amount of clippy things for my Thunderhawk, because if you just trim this little end piece here, you can just slide it out the end. So you can just basically shove the next one in, it pops the old clip out, and then everything's all hunky-dory. So that means I have 2, well, I have an extra Thunderhawk shell now, since the one I cut up already, whoops. So I have one functional, one that's integrated, and one that can be integrated, so I don't have a solid plan for this yet. So if you have suggestions. Also, a few days after that, he says, do you have use for a Jin Urso shell? And I said, sure, why do you have a Jin Urso shell? And he says, something bad happened and it's easier to buy another one, so I have a Jin Urso shell as well, which is cool because I haven't actually looked at one of these with the intent of cutting up yet, but there is this kind of cool grippy area which doubles, of course, as the battery holder, and there's potential, there's some kind of cool details and things like that, so I'm not sure what that's going to turn into, but it'll turn into something eventually. More magazines. I was prepared. Picked up this double dealer, which is apparently complete and functional, except for the magwells, because he says he bought it for the magwells, but then found out it didn't have magwells, so I bought it for the cool grippy thing and some other details, and so, there again, no definite plans yet, but it was a deal I couldn't pass up. Also, before the event, like the day before we left, Alice, Coat Duck, contacted me and says, do you have use for a Raptor Strike? And I said, sure, why do you have one? And she's, her and her friend did some thrifting on the way when they were over there. She got there a little early and picked up this Raptor Strike that I had to break down to fit it in the suitcase, but I do have a Raptor Strike stock and Raptor Strike everything else as well. So, there again, no solid plans yet, but this might be the one that I condense. Here's this. Brainstormed over the weekend when I was sitting on this. If you saw my Instagram post a long time ago, before this was actually released, I had plans of taking one, cutting it down, shortening it away up, taking all this useless space out, and putting a Strife in it. Then later found out that I couldn't because the shell wasn't tall enough to cover flywheels, and I'd have to build a lot of stuff on top, so I haven't done anything with that yet. Also considered the idea of minimizing the dead space, since all the internals are up here, moving everything back and making just a compact rifle-y Springer, just using the same internals. But now I have these Flywheel the World wheels, and that whole Flywheel the World micro flywheel platform we can use. So I can now take and cut the junk out of it, shorten the thing up, make it a nice compact size, and then put micro flywheels in it, and still make it a cool, usable, fun, what do you call it, practical little rifle-y thing. So that might be what happens here. Haven't decided yet, but it's nice to have options. Alice also picked up an Apollo, but Chris wanted the handle, so she says, do you want the top? And I said, sure, I'll take the top, I'll turn that into something. So, Apollo top. Magazine. Oh, also got this guy from Alice. She picked up a handful of these several weeks ago, and I said, hey, are you going to use all of those? Because I've been looking for one. And so I got one of these now. probably one of the coolest. Well, okay, I'll skip first. Before the event, Chris, Panda, says, hey, if you're going to, in fact, he threw it out to a lot of people, if you're wanting anything for Blaster Tech or Jace 3D, to let him know he can buy it and then just bring it with him instead of having to pay the Australian shipping. And I looked through their stuff and I couldn't really justify anything right away because I'm like, I don't really need anything right now, but it's really cool and I appreciated his offer. And so when he was dropping off the Thunderhawk thing, he says, by the way, here's a box. And I said, what's in the box? And he says, oh, I went ahead and got some stuff from Jace 3D. I thought, what the heck would Mr. Nathan want? So I've got the high-capacity cylinder. I've got I think that's the Strife heel piece, a barrel thing, a motor cover, and a few other little odds and ends. So thank you very much for that, for being very unexpected. Also got a couple of Vorpal kits from Alice while I was there, with I believe all the pieces to put them together, so I'll be doing that later. Ooh. What's this guy here? Ragnarocktoberfest. Oh, this is a cool free shipping thing from Out of Darts if you want a Jupiter, and I want a Jupiter. Expires. Oh. Okay. Expires in a couple of days. I'm not sure I can order one that quick. But hey, if you got one of these, good for you. Got the wristband and sticker thing from Silver Fox Industries. Go buy his stuff because it's pretty cool. Got my Ragnarocktoberfest patch. So that's super cool. Safety glasses. Got a Raven cage from Alice as well. It's for my Raven build up there. Finally gets a cage. What's that? More loose darts and things. My screwdriver. Can't forget that guy. And I got this old Straven project from Alice, because she says, I'm not going to do anything with it. Would you like to do something with it? And I said, you know what? Because this is actually an interesting story. It was actually the project she was working on when we first started to communicate about things, when we first started to chat and share notes and things like that. So it's really cool, a very kind of special, sentimental project. So it's going to be kind of cool finishing this up. She just said she was moving on to bigger and better things, obviously, and just didn't know if she'd be able to have the time or the interest to finish it the way she wanted to finish it. So yeah, so I'm going to pick up where she left off and try to finish it in a very Alice Coat Duckish theme, and try to correspond with her a little bit and kind of see what her goal was and try to build it accordingly to that. That means it's going to have LEDs and some fancy parts. But yeah, just finish that, and it's just going to be a nice, cool, sentimental piece. It was built for her. It was built much shorter than usual because she has a small frame, and so it's going to be kind of stay true to that a little bit. I'm not going to change the cut lines or anything. It was damaged a little bit. I'll have to, I think, detach it, clean it up a little bit, just where the glue was, and reattach it just to make sure everything is all good to go. Yeah, I'm not going to try to change any of the aesthetic direction with it. So it's just a Straven, but it was built back before Stravens were taboo, so it's okay. So that's going to be a fun little side project to kind of poke at once in a while. I'm really kind of curious to see how that's going to end up. But that, I believe, as they say, is that. But just an awesome event, and of course it rolled into a much bigger, like I said, anniversary trip for my wife and I, so that was really cool. It's a nice way to start things off. It's really cool to have her be part of things, to actually participate in a big event and meet my friends in the hobby, all of my weird friends. That was really cool, and yeah, it's just such a cool event to be part of, and I look forward to more of these events popping up, not only here but elsewhere across the country. And now that they're doing one in UK, very similar kind of large scale event. It'd be cool to go to that someday. Probably can't swing it this year or this next year, but no, it's just cool to be a part of this community and to be a part of the events that is put on by this community, and it's just cool. If you ever have an opportunity to attend an event like this, just do it. Just do it, and I don't think you will regret it. But thanks for hanging out for a little bit, going through all my cool things and seeing what kind of future projects are on the horizon. And I think I'm gonna go take a nap. I'll see you guys next time. Wishing blue skies and green lights to you and yours. May all your troubles be teeny weeny.